What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com bringing you a video today to discuss an interview that I recently saw with Neymar, where he answered a question where he was asked what him and Messi think of each other's shoes, which is really interesting. And the answer that he gave, I think, revealed some information that a lot of people didn't necessarily pick up on that I want to talk about in this video. Now, I saw this interview in the Neymar Goes Sneaker Shopping with Complex video that just went up today. Basically, the premise of this show, this series, is that they take a major athlete or a major celebrity and they do an interview while sneaker shopping. They tend to be pretty interesting videos. If you want to see the one with Neymar, there'll be a link to it down below in the description. Now, the majority of the questions that they asked were pretty straightforward, I would say. Kind of questions you would expect them to ask to a Nike endorsed athlete, which Neymar is. And honestly, the majority of the answers that he gave were pretty straightforward. A lot of the questions revolved around sneakers and fashion, which is kind of what the series is all about. But the final question that they asked Neymar involved what him and Messi thought of each other's shoes, and the answer that he gave was super interesting. So the question that Neymar was asked is there any competition between you and Messi in regards to on-field fashion? And his answer to this question was really interesting. Keep in mind, Neymar answered all of these questions in Spanish. I do not speak Spanish, but everything was translated with English subtitles in the video. So assuming that those translations were accurate, that's what I'm going off of in terms of what Neymar's answer was. And his answer to this question was this: when they're ugly, we kind of play around, we have a joke with each other because we think it's kind of funny. And when they're better looking, we congratulate each other. We say, hey, you did a good job. Now, this might seem like a very kind of innocent, simple answer to give, like the rest of the ones that he gave, but he answered this question in a much more, I guess, joking way than he did the rest of them, where he seemed a lot more serious to me. But the reason why I think this answer is so interesting, because at the surface, it just seems like two guys who are friends making fun of each other's shoes, which everybody does in real life. But the difference here is that these are two major endorsed athletes, two of the biggest endorsed athletes in the world. Neymar for Nike, other than Cristiano Ronaldo, is their biggest guy, and Messi for Adidas is definitely their biggest guy. Both of these guys have signature colorways. In the case of Messi, he even has his own signature model and has had that for years. So the reason why this is such an interesting response is because of who these guys are and the fact that they can joke about these signature colorways and the way their shoes look so lightheartedly. Why is this important information? It's important because it kind of gives us a little bit of an inside look in how involved these guys actually are in the development of these products and the development of these signature colorways. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, I would think that if I were Messi as an example, and I worked really long and hard with Adidas on a signature boot in a signature colorway that I thought was really good, it represented a story, it represented myself, it was a piece of me, it's something that I worked very hard on. If someone were to criticize that product that I worked really hard on, I might be a little bit offended, but the fact that these two can joke so lightheartedly about, hey, your shoes are ugly this time around, oh, your shoes are pretty good looking, you did a good job, ha ha ha, that to me implies that they have very little to do with the signature colorways and what the final product ends up looking like. So he always uses the words we. He says we instead of I in this video. He never says I make fun of Messi's boots and Messi makes fun of mine. He almost says that we make fun of each other's boots, almost implying that sometimes we're making fun of the same boot. So let's say Neymar said Messi's boots are ugly, and Messi said, hey, yeah, I agree, they are kind of ugly. That's kind of the answer and the implication that I got from Neymar's answer. Let me know if you guys think the same thing, but that is the general impression that I got. I think what backs up what I just talked about a little bit is the track record that Neymar and Messi have in regards to actually wearing their signature endorsed models. So if we look at Neymar as an example, he's recently been switched to the Mercurial line, and ever since that's happened, he's worn the shoe that he's endorsing, which is kind of how it's supposed to work, and I think how it should work. But in the case of when he was still a main face for the Hypervenom line and getting signature models, especially for the Hypervenom 2 generation, it was very well known that he wasn't actually wearing the Hypervenom 2. He was wearing a Mercurial Vapor with Hypervenom graphics, to the point where Nike decided, hey, this is not good for our brand. We need to switch him into a shoe that he's actually going to wear, or at least a shoe that looks like what you can actually buy. In the case of Messi, it's been for years now that he's not wearing the version of the shoe you can buy, whether it was an F50 model or his own signature Messi model. He's not wearing the same version that you can buy. Some of them are less modified than others, but the fact that he's not wearing his own signature model in his own signature colorways, to me, just seems crazy, because the brands would lead you to believe that these guys are working very, very closely with these signature athletes to develop these products. The Messi boot should be exactly what Messi wants it to be. Obviously, you're going to have progression with each new model. You want the lines to change a little bit for the sake of keeping consumers happy, but he should actually wear the product that you're putting out to the public, which is obviously not the case. He hasn't worn the top-end model in the Messi signature line for 2 generations now, and the Messi 15.1 he wore was not the same as the retail model either. I also think it's really interesting that the public opinion of some of these shoes in regards to how they look has made it all the way down to the physical endorsed athletes who represent these products. If we use the Messi 15.1 as an example, that's a shoe that I think it's pretty popular or common opinion that it's not a very good looking boot. It's kind of ugly, to be very, very blunt. And I wouldn't be surprised if Neymar said, hey, Messi, those shoes are pretty ugly. And Messi said, hey, you know what? I don't think they're all that great looking either, but I wasn't really involved in the process. This is just what they gave me to wear, what they pay me to wear. So that's kind of the impression that I got from this particular response, is that yes, these guys obviously are paid to represent these brands, but their involvement with the brands, with the development of the products, the development of these signature colorways, they basically just end up wearing whatever is given to them. I'm sure they have some say at some point in time, but it's really difficult to say how much of a say they actually have in terms of what the final product ends up being. Because if they did have that much of a say, there would be no question that they'd be wearing the exact same product that you can actually buy in the store, which obviously is not the case. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. I did want to ask you guys one more Neymar related question though, and that is in regards to whether or not he's going to stay at Barca or leave for PSG. I'll leave a little pop-up poll in the corner of the screen and you can vote what you think he's going to do. If you're asking me, I think the amount of money he would make from that PSG move is too much to turn down. So if I were betting, I think he's going to leave to PSG. Hopefully that is not revealed before this video goes up, because it very well could be. Anyways, vote in the corner of the screen. Let me know your opinions. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to support it with a like. If you have any questions for me, as always, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.